All right, let's go to Nashville 615. Compare your view of the below former players with this from the spring of 2022 to the transfers or newcomers of 2023. This is kind of fun. We'll just kind of go around the room. Keenan Peely versus Jeremy Banks. Like, not necessarily who's better, but kind of the feel there at that position.
Well, I think from a maturity standpoint, you would definitely go Keenan Peely, just more
Right.
grounded. And that's not like a slap at Jeremy. I mean, Keenan Peely's married. I mean, he's thinking about people other than himself. It's just that you're at a different spot in life. Athleticism, you'll go Jeremy Banks. Thumper in the middle. If somebody's trying to run between the tackles hubs, don't you think you're taking Keenan Peely? He's just more fit to do it.
Yeah, I mean, and we've seen Keenan Peely run around in shorts and a helmet. I mean, it looks like everything is what you want it to look like, but
Sure.
is he fast enough? Does his speed translate into the SEC? Jeremy Banks, when Jeremy Banks is locked in, Jeremy Banks is fast and he's, obviously can play in this league. Peely's certainly bigger, but I think the biggest difference is you know what you're going to get every day from Keenan Peely, and you just didn't know what you were going to get every day with Jeremy Banks.
And you didn't bring in Keenan Peely to be Jeremy Banks. You brought him in to be what you guys are talking about, the maturity, the consistency, the guy that can help you at the position, not the guy that you're just getting here for his athletic ability and his ability to run sideline to sideline, just a guy that you can count on that can help you in the middle of your defense.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And he's the bridge for a bunch of young players, which you need a mature guy to help you be that bridge. It's a great point.
Let's go John Campbell, Darnell Wright, which I don't think is really even fair at this point.
No, it's not. Totally different bodies, totally different athleticism. You're just hoping John Campbell can kind of hold down one side of the offensive line,
Yeah.
and nothing more, nothing less. He don't have to be all world. You just want him to be consistent over there. They got flip it to the other side away from Darnell Wright last year. Hubs, they had no consistency there. Like, it was a revolving door. And J.J. Crawford would play really, really well, and then all of a sudden would, be nowhere to be found. Then Gerald Mincey would start a game and then, would struggle and have to bring J.J. Crawford in. Like, you just want John Campbell to be consistent. That's the best, I guess, the best way to describe what you're looking for, because Darnell Wright was super consistent.
Well, and was super durable. That's the other thing, too, that's not talked about. I mean, Darnell Wright played 1,000 snaps the last 2 years or something crazy like that. So the durability factor is something that has to go in there, regardless of talent. Any Campbell to be durable, and that's what you hope you get from a similarity standpoint to Darnell Wright.
And it's almost an unfair comparison to put anybody up against Darnell right now because of what he gave you the last 2 years and consistently the way he produced at such a high level.
Here's a good one. Dante Thornton right now versus Jalen Hyatt this time last year. I mean, it's pretty evenly matched if you kind of look at it, right?
I think so. As far as production, about the same.
Yeah.
Not much difference between the two. So I think that's if you're looking last year versus now, I think it's kind of a push.
Let's go McAllen Castles, Princeton Fant. Just a lot of unknowns about McAllen Castles. And Princeton Fant, I mean, he really blossomed there this last year. I mean, he played a lot, but he didn't really do an awful lot before last year.
If you're talking pure production hubs, it's McAllen Castles before going back to this point last year. Now, Castles is playing in a smaller league against lesser competition. So had you put Princeton Fant at UC Davis, what kind of numbers does he put up out there? Like, so I think it's kind of hard to really kind of weight them. I think it's a little easier with the kind of Jalen Hyatt, Dante Thornton comparison because they're playing both Power 5 football. But I think, with this one, it's probably just a little bit tougher.
Well, and Grant, the versatility that Princeton Fant played with, we just have no idea if Castles can play with that kind of versatility. I think Princeton Fant's going to be missed more than anybody ever dreamed he would be missed in this program. I'm not saying you can't replace him, but the value he brought was just kind of not really talked about a whole lot. But what he did for this team last year was pretty impressive in terms of the different ways he helped.
Can you line up McAllen at fullback on the 1 yard line and he's going to give you a touchdown? Or what's it look like when you ask McAllen to uncork a 55-yard touchdown against UT Martin in November or whatever it was? So that's the versatility that came to mind. They lined him up everywhere, Princeton Fant. They asked him to do a little bit of everything. He did a little bit of everything.
If he can stay healthy, Princeton Fant's going to play in the National Football League. Maybe not right away, but I think he's a practice squad guy who's going to have a chance to be a third tight end for somebody in the National Football League.
I mean, look at Jason Kroom. Jason Kroom hung around for how long?
I mean, Jakob Johnson's still in the league.
There you go.
You know, it's about.
You think the San Francisco 49ers couldn't find a way to use Princeton Fant all over the field in that offense, as versatile as they are with the way they use different guys in different ways?
Yep.
I don't think anybody will be Princeton Fant next year on this team. I mean, there'll have to be another tight end, but sure, there'll be an H-back, but asking him to do all those type of stuff, the roles, he'll line up at tailback sometimes. I don't see anybody being exactly him, but doesn't mean that somebody can't in the future, for sure. Last one on this I want to bring up is Omar Norman-Lott and Latrell Bumpus, and I think this one's interesting because Bumpus has played an awful lot, but gosh, even this time last year, he was out with knee injuries, and he was just so banged up. I think just from a pure health standpoint, you're probably getting an upgrade a little bit, even though Latrell Bumpus gave you a lot of good snaps last year.
Yeah, I would go with, just again, this time last year. I'm judging on this time last year. I would tell you Omar Norman-Lott, just because at this time last year, Bumpus had not been able to stay healthy enough to have any kind of consistent production. But he had a great senior year, man. And
he did.
Is as likable of a kid as that's ever passed through the doors.
I mean, there's at one point last spring you thought he might lose the year because of the knee injury that he suffered. So, yeah, I mean, from a health standpoint, clearly, Norman-Lott. And Norman-Lott's his first 2 days on the practice field has been welcome to the Rodney Garner Club, as one would expect. So what's his adjustment look like here the next 13 days in terms of understanding expectations and all that they do will be interesting to watch. But you're right. Latrell Bumpus will go down as one of the all-time favorites. Really good guy. Tennessee meant the world to him, and he gave it everything he could his senior year and had his best year last year, which was great to see.
Hey, thanks so much for watching the video here at Volquest on YouTube, the leading source of University of Tennessee football, basketball, and recruiting. Be sure to check out our latest video right here and our latest live show right above it. All that at Volquest.com and Volquest on YouTube.